And it is the 49th day of the invasion of Ukraine. NDTV's Vishnu is on the ground and he sent us this report on the horrors of war.
It's been a day of critical developments here on the Ukraine front. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has said that the peace process is essentially not working. The talks have hit a wall. Now, these are very worrying signs because it does appear to indicate that Russia may be preparing for an offensive in the eastern part of this country, in the Donbass region. Now, that is widely expected. But for the Russian president to actually make a statement where he says that the peace talks have hit a wall, a dead end at this stage, is very worrying indeed, because no one really knows what the Russian intention is after this. The reason one brings that up is because there are very strong reports now coming from the Ukrainians that the Russians have already started using chemical agents. That marks a new and dangerous phase in this war, and escalation as far as conflict is concerned. And Ukrainians over here ask next, what's next? If he has crossed the boundaries, if he has launched his offensive, if he's moved to chemical weapons, will he then move on to biological weapons, perhaps even some sort of tactical nuclear weapons, weapons of mass destruction? It is a real fear in Ukraine. There are two important other points which are developing over here. Firstly, the situation in Mariupol, the port city in the south of this country. The situation there remains quite critical. There is a sense, in fact, that that city has been all but obliterated by the Russians, with only small remaining units of the Ukrainians continuing to hold their ground and fighting. In fact, it is these units which are, in fact, being attacked, allegedly, by these chemical weapons. Now, the allegations themselves are also being independently probed by some countries, so we'll have to get more details on that as and when it takes place. Meanwhile, over here in the Kyiv region, as you can see, the movement of cars as normal, but the curfew kicks in a little while from now. The curfew continues in this part, and it seems strange that you have a city like this which seems to be functional, but I can tell you that just 15 minutes away, it's complete devastation. In the Irpin area, I was there earlier on today. I saw dozens of burnt out tanks, armored personnel carriers, also destroyed buildings. So the war is very active over here in Ukraine, on the eastern parts of the country, and the extent of the devastation left by the Russians is now slowly becoming more and more clear as people get into the areas where the Russians have now vacated. In Kyiv with Uma Shankar Singh and Ashok Mahale, Vishnu for NDTV.